So Ron DeSantis, as all you guys know, made quite a name for himself by being who, me, bro? I'm the anti-woke guy, bro. I'm against wokeness. I'm against all these authoritarian leftists trying to control people and censor people and shut them down. This is his bread and butter. This is how he made his name. This is how he became popular in right-wing circles, took a stab at the presidency, but got destroyed by the bulldozer that is Donald Trump. Well, now, perhaps you're going to be unsurprised to learn it seems like there's one issue where all of a sudden he's not so pro-free speech, not so anti-authoritarian. Watch this.
You think about what happened when you have these Hamas demonstrators out. They're taking over bridges and they're taking over roads. And first of all, you don't have a right to do that. You have someone get stuck in traffic. How do you know if someone may need to get to a hospital? Someone may need to pick up a child somewhere, and you're just going to commandeer the road because you have this ideological predilection. They tried to do that in Miami, and what happened? In 10 minutes, they got dragged off the road where they belonged, and we're not going to tolerate that. You look at these universities. When we have students who are doing things that, I mean, look, some of the stuff with the Hamas, I think is absurd that someone would go out and demonstrate on that. But, you know, when you're chasing Jewish students around, when you're not letting a Jewish professor enter a building, when you're targeting people like that, that's not free speech. I mean, that's harassment. That violates appropriate conduct. And yet, at Columbia, at Yale, all these places, those folks rule the roost. They do whatever they want. And these administrators and the presidents of these universities are weak. They're scared, and they don't do anything. You know, you do that in Florida at our universities, we're showing you the door. You're going to be expelled when you're doing that stuff. And you know what? The minute people start to face consequences, you are not going to see this nonsense going on.
So if you are a pro-Palestine protester in Florida, we're just going to crack down. We're going to expel you. Suspend, expel, whatever it is. There's going to be consequences, and then it's going to stop. Guys, all of these absolute losers and frauds just made a core part of their ideology, like a year or two ago. Free speech on college campuses. Greg Abbott in Texas signed a bill specifically protecting free speech on college campuses. And then what happened? In Austin, at the University of Texas, there was pro-Palestine protests, perfectly peaceful, totally nonviolent, nothing wrong or bad happening. They sent in the cops wearing riot gear to crack skulls. They had at some of these protests, they were arresting professors. They arrested the head of the philosophy department at one of these protests. You guys are all getting your wish. I don't know what you're bitching and moaning about. The cops are being sent in, skulls are being cracked, people are getting locked up. There was the example of a Zionist says kill the Jews, then blames the pro-Palestine protesters, and 100 pro-Palestine protesters got locked up. All you guys are getting your way. You're getting the police state authoritarian crackdown. You're getting the censorship that you want, and you still have the nerve to go out there and say, we need to crack down more. This is unacceptable. And by the way, what's the tale as old as time? The oldest trick in the book is what? What he just did right there. So you point to the most extreme examples and define the whole group based on that. He said something like, they're chasing Jews and trying to do violence or something. First of all, I haven't seen any stories of that, so massive asterisks there. But second of all, if there was an instance like that, that's bad, that's wrong, that one person is a criminal. But that doesn't mean you can crack down on 500 fucking protesters who are perfectly peaceful, which is exactly what he wants to do. And then he used the Tom Cotton argument, right? Oh my God, these people who are blocking traffic, throw them overboard. Or as Tom Cotton said, rip their skin off. There's another way that you could stop people from blocking bridges, blocking traffic, trying to shut down airports. There's a very simple and straightforward way. Stop arming and funding Israel. I mean, you should already do that anyway, since they've killed over 40,000 Palestinians and are carpet bombing everything in sight. You should already do that regardless of the fact that there's protests. But that'll make it stop. I love this. It reminds me of when the Houthis started doing their thing. seizing ships that were going to Israel, trying to trade with Israel. The Houthis seized a bunch of those, and everybody turned into a professional fucking moron in reaction to that. Well, how can we get them to stop? I mean, should we start another war? Should we start bombing them? Should we deploy our weapons? How do we get them to stop? They're literally telling you, if you stop the genocide in Gaza, we'll stop. How do we know that that's true? Because when there was a temporary ceasefire, boom, the Houthis wrapped it up. No more of that shit. So DeSantis cracking down on protesters instead of hearing them out, just like we said with the Houthis, their whole thing was stop arming and funding Israel, and then we'll stop being pirates. Didn't matter. They'd rather just bomb them rather than listen to them. In this instance, instead of just having the universities divest from Israel, supporting not arming Israel anymore, they'd rather go full authoritarian, crack down on them, take away their rights. And everybody's being exposed. This is one of those moments where everybody who was on the so-called pro-free speech right being completely and utterly exposed and showing that they were never in agreement with free speech. I mean, the bottom line is you can easily imagine a situation where these protesters are right-wing protesters, and there's no way they'd be saying, hey, send the cops in, send the National Guard in, suspend them from school, expel them from school. It is inconceivable that would happen, and I think everybody knows it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.